Total silence, no internet, just me and this story. Welcome to my solo writing retreat. My name's Tim. I'm a writer, I'm a reader, and I'm a creator. And in today's video, I would like to bring you along on my solo writing retreat weekend. Let's go. You see, I'm working on my very first manuscript and I am deep in the editing phase and I'm struggling to get through the editing phase. I needed a reset. I booked a rustic cabin down the coast with no interruptions, no internet, and no distractions, with the sole purpose to work on this manuscript. And so I figured, why not bring you along with me, sharing the ups and the downs, sharing the journey, sharing the reset. These solo resets used to be something I would do far more frequently. Whether it be a camping trip or an Airbnb, I would go away and spend time with myself, alone in nature, alone in the world. And what it allowed me to do was learn who I was without the noise, to get clarity on where I was going and the direction I felt like I was stepping next, to simply enjoy time by myself. And in the busy world now, I feel like that is harder and harder to do, and I simply needed a hard reset. I've been here for half a day and I already feel tremendous. So thank you for drifting in with me. Thank you for being here. I would also like this to be valuable for you, which is why I am going to give my reflections at the end of this video and share some things that I thought were valuable in this time. So sit back, grab yourself a cuppa, and enjoy. Anyway, let's get to some writing, shall we? Let me allow you in to my creative process. But to understand my creative process, we need to go back to a time in which creativity didn't exist. Creativity wasn't something spoken about until my late teens. I came from a world in which it felt as though there were 6 jobs which existed. Of those 6, 2 of them felt achievable. What I didn't realize then, and I do now, is that my parents were creative in their own right. I watched my mum with her projects, creating mosaic tables, shattering tiles, piecing them back together to create a beautiful print. My dad's was presented in a different way. His creativity was in the technical detail, but creativity, as it's known now, was reserved for the kids, which were artists, musicians, dancers. With some insight into my building block behind creativity, I didn't discover I too could be creative until my early 20s. It was a complete accident, trying to express how I felt. I'm most creative when I'm moving forward, moving in a direction. I feel trapped if I'm not, feeling stuck if there isn't forwards propulsion. Running, walking, car, train, plane, whatever. That's when creating works best for me. In fact, at the moment, it's vital for my flow. Those are my reset moments, if you will. Hence this beautiful walk down the coast, taking it all in, soaking in the sun. Almost like I'm moving out the negative, the dead space, and replacing it with new seeds and allowing them time to grow. I popped outside because the cabin's lighting in the evening is not the greatest. However, I've had a really productive writing day. I wrote a chapter and edited 2 long chapters that I've really been struggling with for some time, and it was nice to just sort of feel a little bit calmer about it and less chaotic like I have in recent weeks. And I've also been struggling with creativity as of late, so it's nice to not feel as bogged down. Being in nature, being by the coast, being away from it all just feels really refreshing. Being both alone and without internet feels really jarring. You don't know what to do with your spare minutes. You don't know what to do with the time you would normally spend on your phone. And that's probably a deeper conversation for perhaps a reflection at the end of this video. But just all that to say, I found that really hard today in the moments where I was thinking about it and in the moments where I was busy doing the work and walking on the beach in the sun and enjoying myself, reading my favorite book. I wasn't thinking about the internet or my phone, which was really lovely. Anywho, almost time to start the fire and make some dinner as the sun is starting to set. Good morning. A slow, quiet, reflective morning. Appreciating what we have, appreciating the moments, editing the story. The story is slowly unfolding, slowly coming back to me piece by piece, slowly turning into something. And I'm appreciative of this time that I get to put it together into something a little grander, all while enjoying the morning sunshine. So excuse me while I kiss the morning sky. Art is this incredibly fragile thing that we do, that we can get so high on and so down on, that makes our existence what our existence is. I'd lost my creative practice, my creative voice, my creative self. And coming out here and spending a couple of days out in the forest, in a cabin, on a solo writing retreat was exactly what I needed. You see, I've been afraid, a little fragile, a little bit frazzled, if I'm being perfectly honest. I lost connection with this story. I lost connection with the place. And the more pressure I put on myself, the harder that's become. I needed to get out here to remember why I was doing it in the first place, to remember why I love art and I love creating and I love being. And truthfully, I'd lost myself in amongst the noise of trying to be good enough, amongst the noise of other people having opinions and having thoughts and what art needed to be and what you should be doing. The social media posts to stay relevant, the full-time job to be able to afford rent, the hustle and bustle on a daily basis in order to have enough time to make your art. And truthfully, somewhere along the way, I forgot why I was even here. Art is a privilege. We get to make art. We get to be creative. We get to show this side of ourselves. What's more beautiful than that? It should be fun. It should be joyous. It should be engaging. You shouldn't be criticizing every single moment. This reset allowed me to sit down with my manuscript and remember why I started writing it. You'd probably like to know how this weekend went by the numbers. I went on 3 little walks. I drank 11 cups of coffee. I wrote 2,500 new words towards my manuscript. And I edited 4.5 chapters of that manuscript. I'd like to apologize for the strange little places I filmed this video. It's mostly strange because the lighting in the cabin is quite poor because it's surrounded by really big tall trees. So although lovely, harder to film. Anyway, I'm on a swing, which you can see, which is quite nice. What you can't see is that I am floundering over water a little bit, but I would like to share my reflections. Anyway, I've got 3 key reflections from my solo riding retreat. While I'll also acknowledge that I am in a very privileged position where I can go take a weekend away with just me and my story. And I just feel really fortunate to be able to do that and be in a position where that is something I am able to do, and that's something I'm able to prioritize if I choose. In our modern world, we spend very few hours by ourselves without some form of distraction from the outside world. It was incredible this weekend to take some time off the internet, to take some time away from people. And what I noticed after a particular period of time was that my voice started coming back to me. The constant noise that's been bubbling around my head started to get quiet. And I allowed myself to think my own thoughts. What kind of novel did I want to write? Where did the story come from? What was my motivation? What's the inspiration? How do I want it to sound? What do I want it to look like? All of those were incredibly important things in this process of trying to make this story come together. I was allowing yourself to turn off the news, to turn off the world, to just be. And the last time I remember doing that was backpacking across South America and then later Europe, where I turned off the noise of the outside world and just lived. And recently it's been harder to do. And this felt like something that needed to happen in my brain. No phone, no internet, no distractions. That was the motto for the weekend, and it served me incredibly well. The second thing, you've probably seen this book featured a few times throughout this video, but you have also probably seen this video featured a few times on this channel if you have watched for a little bit. Barbarian Days, A Surfing Life by William Finnegan is my favorite book of all time. It's a memoir. It chronicles William's life through the lens of surfing. The language is stunning. The story is transformative, and I just keep coming back to this book because it is the adventure of a lifetime, and I want to make sure that my life is the adventure of a lifetime as well. I've read this maybe 7, 8 times at this point, and I just keep coming back to it, and I think the language is what makes me keep coming back. But the point of bringing that up is that you are never alone if you have a good book. I had an outdoor ed instructor once upon a time who said that to me, and he is very correct. You are never alone if you've got a book. I spent a lot of this weekend reading, a lot of this weekend writing, a lot of this weekend just being. And being in the pages of a book and being in the pages of my own book reminded me of what I feel like I'm supposed to do. It's just beautiful being out in this forest. The smell of the ocean breeze, the rich smell of soil under feet is just intoxicating. I'm pretty lucky, man. And the final reflection is that I've realized I'm trying to do too much. Trying to do social media, trying to do YouTube, trying to do a Substack, trying to write my novel and work full time and be a runner. And I'm not balancing any of it. One thing always gets left behind in the week. There's too much on my plate. And I think that is where the struggle creatively is coming from. But it's not even a struggle creatively as much as it is I am struggling with where I see myself creatively. I'm struggling to see the vision forward, even though for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm ready to move forward. I feel stuck and I'm struggling with that. And part of that is trying to do too much. The other part is perhaps trying to do too much of the wrong thing. And if I'm being truthful, I'm struggling because I'm needing outside validation rather than internal validation on the work that I'm doing. And I think that's because I'm not doing enough of the work that matters to me. And so going forward, I'm going to take a little bit of that off my plate to relieve a little bit of the pressure of trying to do everything and prioritize the right things for me. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on that in the comment below. Thank you for joining me on this cozy, nature-filled solo writing retreat weekend. I appreciate you drifting in. I appreciate you being here. And I'll see you back here in the next one. This has been one of my favorite weekends in a long time. So thank you for joining me. In the meantime, let's get back to writing.